You guys know now who won.
Okay.
Drum roll.
Okay.
And the winner is Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark has taken the basketball world by storm like few before her. The Indiana Fever's rising phenom made the leap from college legend to professional icon almost overnight. With jaw-dropping skill, relentless drive, and fearless leadership, she quickly captured the nation's attention. After rewriting the record books at Iowa, Clark burst into the WNBA and immediately became the face of the Fever franchise. Her rookie season crackled with excitement, and by her second year, she wasn't just holding her own, she was dominating the league. In July 2025, Clark's meteoric rise hit a new peak when she earned one of the game's most prestigious honors, WNBA Player of the Year at the ESPYs. She edged out established stars like Breanna Stewart, Aja Wilson, and Nafisa Collier, players who had defined the league for years. It was a defining moment. Fans were ecstatic. Teammates beamed with pride, and the sports world buzzed with talk of a generational talent just getting started. But just as her star seemed brightest, everything changed. In a high-stakes clash with the Connecticut Sun, Clark suddenly appeared off, wincing and favoring her side. Late in the game, she re-aggravated a lingering groin injury she'd quietly battled for weeks. Cameras caught her limping off the court, clutching her side as a hush fell over the arena. It was a chilling moment. Was the Fever's golden girl sidelined for good? Coach Stephanie White urged calm, assuring fans Clark would undergo thorough evaluation. But the optimism didn't last. Just days after her ESPY triumph, on July 17th, Clark delivered devastating news she would miss the entire 2025 WNBA All-Star Weekend. No All-Star game, no three-point contest. And heartbreakingly, both were set to take place in her hometown of Indianapolis. The city and the league was stunned. This was meant to be her moment to shine on her home court. Clark took to social media with a heartfelt message, sharing her deep disappointment and emphasizing that her health had to come first. She ended with broken heart emojis, a raw and honest glimpse into how much the decision hurt.
Step for me. But it's just one step for the WNBA. Thanks to all the great players like Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Cynthia Cooper, the great Dawn Staley, and my basketball.
Still, in true leader fashion, Caitlin Clark vowed to be there, not on the court, but on the sidelines, cheering her teammates on. It was a mature, selfless move, choosing long-term health over momentary glory. But with her absence, the WNBA faced a sudden vacancy in one of its marquee events, the three-point contest. Luckily, the answer was already in-house. Enter Lexie Hull, Clark's Indiana Fever teammate who had quietly built a reputation as one of the league's deadliest sharpshooters. She'd been lights out from beyond the arc all season, earning respect from coaches and real hoop fans alike. While she didn't draw headlines the way Clark did, Hull had been the Fever's silent assassin, focused, efficient, and ice-cold under pressure. Her call-up wasn't just well-deserved, it was inevitable. Replacing Clark on such a massive stage was no small task. The All-Star Weekend was happening in Indianapolis, her home court, and the national spotlight would now be shining directly on Hull. But she didn't flinch. This was her moment, her chance to represent the Fever, to honor her injured teammate, and to prove she belonged among the league's elite. Yet behind Hull's quiet confidence was a heavy heart. Just days before being named Clark's replacement, she experienced a personal tragedy, the loss of her beloved dog, Maggie, who had been by her side for 14 years. Hull shared black and white photos and a heartfelt tribute on social media, calling Maggie the sweetest Mags and admitting that home would never feel the same. The post struck a deep chord with fans, adding a layer of emotion to what was already a pressure-packed moment. So when All-Star Saturday arrived, all eyes were on Lexie Hull. The lights were bright, the crowd thunderous, and social media buzzing with anticipation. This wasn't just another warm-up or regular season spotlight. This was Hull's moment, a chance to channel her grief, pride, and preparation into greatness. It wasn't just about filling in, it was about showing the world she belonged.
This is wild. WNBA All-Star Weekend. It's supposed to be the star of all stars. All the big dogs is out. Aja Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Breanna Stewart, everybody's out. The big dogs are out. You got the rookie, you got Angel Reese, Miss Me Too. All of the stars are here. And look at this news. The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48% from $121 to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing. Uh-oh.
As the buzzer sounded, Lexie Hull stepped up to the three-point line with nerves of steel and ice in her veins. Shot after shot swished through the net, pure, crisp, and unshakably confident. Each perfect swish ignited the Indianapolis crowd, sending waves of cheers and chants of her name echoing through the arena. For those moments, it felt like this was her city, her night. Even without Caitlin Clark on the court, the Fever's spirit blazed louder than ever on the league's biggest stage. Fans flooded social media, raving about Hull's breakout performance. Many called her a hidden gem finally stepping into the spotlight. And even Caitlin, sitting courtside in street clothes, rose to her feet applauding every rack Lexie conquered. A show of respect that sent chills through the crowd. By the time the contest wrapped up, Lexie hadn't just filled a vacant spot. She had carved out a defining moment of her own. From the depths of heartbreak to the glare of the spotlight, she'd made a bold statement. She was more than ready for the big leagues. When the final scores were announced, the arena collectively held its breath. Lexie Hull finished second overall, just one shot shy of claiming the crown. The crowd erupted in thunderous applause, chanting her name like she'd just nailed a game-winning buzzer beater in the finals. For a player who wasn't even slated to compete, this was a career-defining breakthrough, officially cementing her as one of the WNBA's deadliest shooters. Social media exploded overnight. Fans crowned her the silent sniper, praising her for earning her flowers in just one electrifying night. Even national analysts who had barely noticed her before began sharing clips of her flawless form, calling it textbook perfection. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, sidelined but ever-present in spirit, wiped tears from her eyes as she embraced Lexie after the contest. Lexie held it down for us tonight, she told reporters, smiling through the pain. That heartfelt quote instantly went viral, a testament to two teammates bound by respect, resilience, and a relentless drive to win. What started as a weekend shadowed by Clark's absence transformed into a celebration of Hull's arrival. One moment of opportunity had rewritten the course of her season, and maybe even her career. The sports world couldn't stop buzzing. Was this the birth of a new star?
5 games with the injury, the quad, keeping Caitlin Clark on the sidelines. But Trevor, she was back today for...
Sports shows kept replaying Lexie Hull's flawless shooting stroke on a loop, sparking debates about whether she could become a permanent face of the Fever alongside Caitlin Clark. Fans chimed in with spirited takes. Some even joked, Caitlin's the queen, but Lexie's the sniper. Social media exploded with side-by-side highlight reels comparing their styles, with one viral post reading, Clark's range, Hull's precision, Fever's got two assassins. The narrative had flipped completely. What was meant to be a weekend overshadowed by Caitlin's painful absence had transformed into a celebration of the Fever's incredible depth. Caitlin herself joined the conversation on Instagram after the contest, sharing a photo hugging Lexie with the caption, "Proud is an understatement. She earned that moment." The post racked up hundreds of thousands of likes within hours. But amid the celebration, a question hung heavy. How long would Caitlin be sidelined? The Fever's playoff hopes depended on their superstar's return, and fans eagerly awaited news. This injury was more than just a personal setback. It was the franchise holding its collective breath. While Lexie Hull's star was undeniably rising, all eyes remained fixed on Caitlin Clark. How serious was her groin injury? Could she make it back in time for the postseason push? Team doctors remained tight-lipped, offering only cautious updates. She's progressing well, but there's no clear timetable. That uncertainty fueled anxiety among fans and ignited wild speculation in the media. Some insiders suggested the Fever might shut Clark down early to protect her long-term health. Others believed she'd push through the pain to be on the court when it mattered most. The debate raged online, rest for the future versus grit for the present. Meanwhile, the Fever kept fighting, eking out wins to stay in playoff contention, thanks largely to players like Hull stepping up in a big way. Yet the unspoken truth was clear: the team needed their superstar back. Breaking her silence, Clark released a brief but powerful message. "I'm doing everything I can to be back when it matters most. Trust me, I'll be ready."
We have been following throughout the past 2 days surrounds a superstar herself, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA star, the Indiana Fever star, Caitlin Clark. She's going to miss all the action on the court.
That message from Caitlin Clark lit a spark across the fan base. Was it a quiet promise of a dramatic playoff return? Hope surged. At the same time, Lexie Hull's heartbreaking post about the passing of her beloved dog, Maggie, went viral. Thousands of fans and fellow players flooded her mentions with love and support. But among them, two responses stood out. Caitlin, still reeling from her own disappointment, simply commented, "Proud of you, always." A short reply, but one that said everything. Clark was grappling with the sting of missing a moment she had dreamed about her entire life, just days after winning one of her sport's highest honors. Hull was mourning a companion of 14 years, trying to keep her heart intact while stepping into the biggest moment of her career. And in the middle of it all, Sophie Cunningham emerged as a steady, emotional anchor of the Indiana Fever. Whether it was rallying teammates, checking in behind the scenes, or just being a quiet presence of strength, she became the glue holding it all together. In that stretch of pain, pressure, and spotlight, these three women reminded everyone that being a professional athlete is about so much more than highlight reels and packed arenas. It's about showing up for each other when the cameras fade, when life gets heavy, and when hearts are hurting. They prove that greatness isn't just measured in stats or trophies, but in love, loyalty, and resilience. And fans noticed. Social media lit up with messages like, "This is what a real team looks like," and "These women are more than athletes, they're role models." The narrative shifted. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. It became something deeper. A story of unshakable sisterhood, of rising through heartbreak, of leaning on each other when everything threatened to break. For Caitlin, Lexy, and Sophie, this chapter wasn't just a rough patch. It became a moment fans across the country would never forget. A reminder that behind every jersey is a story. And sometimes those stories are what inspire us most.